The Beyond the Ropes podcast is proud to support the Kai & Prince Foundation. Go to www.thekpf.com to donate or support the foundation on their mission of bringing people together to end violence. Founder, Dr. Mark Prince's best-selling book, The Prince of Peace, is available on Amazon and other major retailers.
My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart, I want to eat his children.
But it ain't about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
Hi, welcome to Beyond the Ropes. It's me, Michael Prime, joined today, Sean Mansfield. We're 50% down.
Dave's looking at house.
Yeah, Dwight hasn't wriggled out from under the thumb as of yet.
Mm-hmm.
That chair's just getting cobwebs on it, man.
Mm.
I probably should clean it, to be fair.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
But we're here anyway. We need to keep our consistency going, so we're here. We've got some stuff to talk about. Wasn't a busy weekend.
No, just
But an important weekend?
I'm not really fussed about it, to be honest. About if we're talking about Usyk.
Yeah.
It's not really. That was like if anyone was surprised or disappointed by what happened, I just don't really understand where they're coming from.
I mean, I was doing the same, so
Yeah, it's what it was. Obviously, like it's a first fight at that weight. We fed an easy opponent.
yeah.
He's not a knockout artist, so he's never going to look spectacular.
Yeah.
That's not his style. But I think as long as he can take a shot,
That'll be the test, won't it?
it's going to be a problem for everyone, I think.
See, I was arguing with people loads of it over the weekend and even into this week. Like you said, I don't understand what people wanted.
Mm.
If you were surprised that he was getting hit, I don't know why, because he got hit at cruiserweight.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to get marked up. He's going to get hit hard at heavyweight. I get that. But everything he did, he still did it very well.
Mm.
And I think this is what I've always said with Usyk. Everything he does to a very good level.
Mm.
I don't necessarily think he is elite at any one thing.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. Like, I don't think he's the greatest defensive fighter. I don't think he's the greatest attacking fighter.
There's no real weaknesses though.
But that's it. Everything about him is solid.
Yep.
Like, he's not like Lomachenko-esque. He's got little bits like that, the way he moves his feet and stuff like that. But
I think that's the problem though. That's a hard sell, isn't it? To
Yeah.
sort of like say, oh yeah, pay to watch this guy. He's got no weaknesses. So they have to big him up, and the obvious comparison with Lomachenko is there. So I don't know whether people are annoyed that their expectations were too high, but I think that's only their own fault if they think so.
yeah, I think it's a lot to do with how he's marketed as well. Because, like I said, you go on Twitter and the first thing I'm seeing is, he's got no one-punch KO power, and it's like, well, he wasn't banging people out at cruiserweight, and that doesn't matter. I said it on our Twitter that it's not a punching machine. It's boxing.
I think the good thing about that as well is like where, say if we're talking about heavyweights like a Wilder, knocking everyone out, you're never sure how they're going to do when they come up against someone who isn't going to get knocked out.
Yeah.
At least you know Usyk is going to be able to mix it. He's not going to come up like, if he loses, it's going to be so because someone's a bit better than him. He's never going to get outclassed.
No.
He's going to give a good performance, and he's in good fights, like close fights, competitive fights, like
And entertaining fights as
Yeah.
well. Like, obviously, we haven't necessarily seen it over the weekend, but if people that have followed him throughout the cruiserweight journey, his fights are always good. And it's like I said, I just don't understand what people's thoughts are. Like, as boxing fans, everyone's ripped the shit out of Wilder for only having one punch power and not being that technically sound.
Yeah.
It's like you've got someone at the opposite end of the spectrum here who possibly could still knock you out.
Yeah, yeah, I'm pretty sure he could knock me out.
Yeah.
I'd say so.
But he's technically probably far better than everyone else up there. With the exception of possibly Ruiz, maybe.
Yeah.
And that's if Ruiz is on his best day and we get to see if he's still hungry for the sport in December.
Yeah.
Just off topic, have you seen the pictures of the stadium in...
Stadium, is that what you're calling it?
Yeah, I'm going to call it a stadium thus far.
Yeah, it looks like the sort of stadium you see in like some village in the middle of nowhere somewhere.
It's still flat packed. It's incredible.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe, was it Frank Smith tweeted out today and he was like, work's coming along well. I'm like, mate, there's no stadium there and this fight's in like 8 weeks.
Yeah.
There's nothing there.
There didn't seem to be anybody working there either.
It's incredible. It's just a nonsense, the whole thing so far.
What is it? Is it going to be a proper... Or is it going to be one of these temporary things that comes down
It's going to
afterwards?
have to be temporary because there's no way they're going to build a whole stadium. How much, even, just basic things, how much plumbing do you have to put in between now and December the 7th? How long does that take? Things like just clean water coming in, toilets. It's just incredible how much there is still to do. And from the video they showed today, there's nothing done.
Yeah. So, are we still convinced it's going to be there?
Nah.
Nah.
We'll obviously, naturally, we'll progress to that.
Because we're only about
7 weeks.
7 weeks.
And while we're staying off topic, have you seen that no one's got a visa?
Yeah. Oh, I haven't.
There's no.
I've seen no
automatic
comments.
Visa.
So how does it work then? They still have to reply separately, or?
Right. So everyone saw the clip from the press conference where that.
And Hearn has said it several times since, hasn't he?
Yeah. And if you buy a ticket, you will automatically get a 30-day visa.
Which, in hindsight, was like a stupid.
It's nonsense. Like,
Okay,
they're
so
not going to do
all I've
it.
got to do is go and buy a ticket to a boxing match and I get a visa.
And I can just, I don't know, do you really want to smuggle your way across and stay there?
No.
Probably not. But it's incredible that they said it so many times.
Yeah.
And somebody bought their ticket, excuse me, I can't remember the guy's name, and he emailed Matchroom and he says, oh, right, so I bought it. How do I get my visa? Because you said it's going to be automatic. And they've said, no, you still have to apply for it. That wasn't confirmed. The visa was only a guideline.
Mm-hmm.
So it's another £100 on top of your ticket.
Brilliant.
So you've already bought flights, accommodation.
So the ticket prices, though, obviously are fairly reasonable, aren't they?
I think it was about, wasn't the cheapest one like 105, 110 or something like that?
Considering you're getting to go to one of the greatest boxing shows of all time. Going to go down history.
In the new mecca of boxing. And,
yeah.
well, sports entertainment, obviously.
They should have done that near Mecca. Is it near Mecca where they've done it?
I don't. I'm going to come across like Dave here now. I've got no idea.
But that would have been so good.
Yeah.
The Mecca of boxing, they should have
It's better
literally
than
called that.
Clash of the Dunes or whatever, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Like Return to
Terrible.
Mecca or something. They could have done something.
Yeah.
Or the Money Mecca.
Yeah.
Duh. I need to write
That's
that
probably
down.
quite offensive, isn't it?
Definitely is.
Yeah.
I apologise.
Mm.
I mean, I sort of apologise. I quite enjoyed the humour there. Right, so to get back on topic, for me, Usyk did exactly what he had to do. I still actually felt he looked really good.
Yeah.
Quality of opponent, Mr. Chaz, 2 Zs, Witherspoon,
Yeah.
not really up to standard. But, what he had? 8 days notice.
Yeah.
Who else do you get on 8 days? Shannon Briggs, they should have just gone for that, man.
Yeah. Yeah, they should have. But I don't really know how much of... I don't really know how much of a big name Shannon Briggs is to even the Let's Go Champ stuff. I don't even know if that's still a thing.
No, I think like within...
Because he's not had a fight in all this time. Like, he's been more famous...
Since. He's more famous now for like chasing Klitschko, isn't he?
Because what did he do? He had a fight on a Hay undercard when Hay was coming back.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah. Oh, do you know what? Let's have a look. Because I know that he fights down in like Mexico, I'm sure of it. Let's go to our purged box rec.
Because he was calling Hay out at that stage, wasn't he?
He was chasing him everywhere. It was actually really funny. He turned up at the gym, just like banging on the doors at the Arches. Briggs, there we go.
So I'm not sure that... I don't know, it's kind of like a fun opponent, but I don't really think... that Witherspoon's probably better than Briggs. Probably. Yeah.
I mean, not necessarily.
And obviously, he's, what is it, second cousin of the
cousin
Witherspoon, yeah.
Tim Witherspoon.
Titherspoon.
Titherspoon.
Yeah.
That should be his nickname.
Yeah.
Like, Sean, please, have you still got them there?
I just recommend somebody, if you're bored, look through Chaz Witherspoon's record, because the nicknames of his opponents are incredible.
Can we have a couple of highlights?
My favourites are... Well, he's fought two Tigers. He fought Tiger Cobb and Tony the Tiger Thompson.
Nice.
Adam Swamp Donkey Richards was my favourite, I think.
Gotta love Swamp Donkey.
Or Talmadge Two Guns Griffiths. Earl Chocolate Drop Ladson. Or Demetrius Only by KO King. Marion the Creek Wilson. I've never seen someone with those amount of nicknames on their record.
Do you remember when you used to play like boxing games, like early 2000s, and you made up your own? You had a list of shit nicknames, a bit like Kid Dynamite and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I always went for Kid Dynamite.
Yeah, always.
Yeah,
I was always Kid Dynamite, and I always had the character with an afro. That's how it used to go.
Yeah,
but yeah, Briggs hasn't fought anyone since Emilio Zarate. Yeah, that was on the Hey undercard.
Right.
Yeah, that was a rubbish one. Like, he was terrible. I mean, in fairness, Briggs came out and did what he had to do.
Yeah.
But even that is now over 3 years ago.
So Briggs is... So, to be fair to him, he still got his name put in the mix, didn't he? Like as a late opponent. Like, he's probably not even the boxer by his own admission anymore.
Yeah.
So no real qualms with the opponent. Who was the opponent supposed to be before?
Tyrone Sprong.
Oh yeah. So this would have been the same, wouldn't it?
Yeah, because it's
going to be the same, right? Until Usyk fights one of the top guys. It's going to be the same in every one of his fights. He's probably going to win, and he's probably going to win like that.
Which, incidentally, is supposed to be early next year, because he is still mandated for the WBO title. So whoever wins come December 7th, he can challenge for that.
But whoever wins that belt, so whoever wins, can they keep all the belts though?
It's going to be a strange one, isn't it? Again, because
I think the whole undisputed thing's over now, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's not going to tie
Unless
up again.
Wilder gets another one, and then
it's not going to tie up again now for a good while, I don't think. So yeah, whoever's probably going to... They're probably going to have to drop it.
Yeah.
Or... No, I can't see any other way. But he can challenge for that after this fight.
So Usyk against Ruiz, that's a fight that I think boxing fans could get quite excited for.
Yeah, because it will look good.
That'll be a competitive, like, action-packed fight on paper.
Yeah.
And probably be 12 rounds of it. Yeah, that because I think Usyk probably beats quite a lot of the heavyweights, and probably some of the top. I don't think he's the best. I don't think he could be the best, but I think he's top 5 potentially.
I think he probably could be the best. Kind of basing it a lot on my kind of bias from when I was a massive David Haye fan, and I don't see any. Like, Haye obviously came up with, in theory, devastating power, whereas Usyk's obviously a bit more technically sound.
But Haye was never the best though, was he?
No, but I think with Haye, we probably missed the best of him. So even when he made it to heavyweight, like his first couple of fights, he looked sensational. Mm-hmm. And then the Klitschko fight, he was obviously already picking up stupid injuries. This is where,
like, I was thinking about this the other day, like when you see David Haye fight Monty Barrett, and obviously the ring entrance, that obviously helps. But his style, like the reaction to Usyk's heavyweight debut and David Haye's, is like completely different.
Yeah.
Even though the quality of the opponent probably isn't that different at that stage of their careers. So maybe they should have got someone for Usyk that he was going to knock out, just to keep everyone happy.
Yeah, I agree.
But it just seems a bit fickle, really, that the actual boxing fans are moaning about it.
But this is what I said. It's a strange thing because we're holding everyone to a different standard, and it's probably what we shouldn't do. So because Wilder gets absolutely battered for not being a great technical boxer, for not having, you would assume, people think he's got no skill at all, that he just swings.
And Fury gets a lot more credit for winning on points in a lot more boring style than Usyk.
So this is my exact point where I was saying like Usyk's getting criticised for not being able to knock people out. Fury doesn't knock people out, and hasn't done for a good while. He might get a stoppage, but he doesn't knock people out, and his fights can be kind of boring. In a kind of appreciate what he does kind of boring way, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I feel Usyk's probably gonna he'll take a year probably, I reckon, to get up to the standard of what we need the top boys in the division to be, and then I think he's going to be a trouble for everybody.
What do you reckon his path will be?
So I can see possibly having the fight for the WBO, but I feel like it's going to become a vacant title.
Yeah.
And he'll win it, and then he'll go off and challenge someone else. I don't think he's going to be in there to have shitty fights now and to be messing around fighting lesser known opponents.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's a bit of a disrespect. Like his career so far has been managed brilliantly.
Yeah.
I know he fights on the road all the time, but he fights top quality opponents. He's picked up all his titles. He's done it the hard way, and he's done well. And it's like he signed for Matchroom. It's like, right, we're going to make you a star. And this is his first fight was a bit. Hasn't been as well received as you would hope.
See, I'd imagine Joe Joyce will take that fight, and there's obviously history there. But I can't really see that happening now with Matchroom and Warren.
No, I don't understand.
Because it's throwing Joyce under the bus, probably. But it should be an amazing fight.
It should be, but do you know what? I've said this before. At some point, you're going to have to with Joyce. You can't not now.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, he is actually now actively wasting time.
Yeah. Sort of like he's got to this level, and it just shows that this level is pretty shit. There's a lot of boxers stuck in this sort of like waiting room of like trying to fight.
You've already got 21-year-old Dubois, who's bypassed him.
Yeah.
He's bypassed him in our thoughts. Frank Warren obviously thinks more of Dubois now. So Joyce has found himself in this really shitty situation now. It's like, what do you do? Who do you go and fight? Because you've got nothing to offer, I think, in a harsh way, nothing to offer in terms of, probably finance, in terms of belts, in terms of fanfare. So it's like you are a massive risk for nothing now.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah. But that's the reality of it. Like, no one's really going to go out and watch Joe Joyce fight.
So at some point,
he might be fighting on the undercard of the fight you want to watch, but it's not going to be his fight.
At some point now, I would have said 2020, he has to go for broke. Just fight anybody.
But Usyk, I think they're going to have to bring him over here, because I think British fans will appreciate him more than the American fans.
Yeah.
And basically, he's not going to fight Wilder. Wilder won't want to fight him, and if he's going to win a belt, it's probably going to be over here, assuming Joshua wins. But I would go for the Joyce fight. I think that would suit both of them, and from a fan's point of view, it's a fight I'd like to see.
I think at this stage, Joyce just gets battered now. Absolutely torn
But
apart.
he seems to get battered in his fights he's having already. Like he gets hit all the time, but he just keeps throwing those sort of really weird punches.
But it's like we said before, because he's so slow and cumbersome, it's almost like, because he's slow, he hits you can't really judge it.
Yeah.
But I feel like Usyk will be the guy to, like, he'll swing and he'll be nowhere near.
But Usyk probably hasn't got the power to stop him early.
No.
So it should just be like both of them just throwing a lot of punches for 6-8 rounds.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah.
And that's where like from Usyk's point of view, he could look good. If he wins that, it's against someone people know, and it's like it looks good. Someone bigger than him, and that's what he needs, like, to shut these people up who are moaning about him.
But the only way he's going to do that is if he knocks someone out, which at the moment he's
You
not
just
going
need to get him with like a Dave Allen then, or a David Price.
which is a shame.
Yeah.
But again, this is what we're saying. Going back to Hay, when he stepped up to
Going back to Hay, that's bad.
Going back to Hay, when he went up to heavyweight, obviously you had the Monty Barrett fight, which was good, but then you had the John Ruiz one, where he actually battered him, and these were established heavyweights. They weren't just like people that had been out in the ring for a long time. Like, wasn't Ruiz like almost like not long had been challenging for the titles? And you make your statement, everybody knows it's like right, he's ready for this division. Whereas Usyk's probably going to have to do that to somebody, which is why I feel like the Ruiz fight would be great for him.
But the heavyweight division is a lot stronger now. Like beating Barrett and John Ruiz if you now 2 fighters of that standard,
Yeah.
gets you to kind of where probably Joe Joyce is now or Dylan
Yeah.
White is now.
I agree with you. And I don't necessarily mean it in terms of the caliber of opponent. I just mean in terms of what the fans think of you.
Yeah.
I don't think people are going to be happy with Usyk until he knocks someone out.
I don't think he's going to knock anyone out.
So then there's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Because then it becomes a very hard sell. Because he's not even, like I said, it's not even like the Lomachenko thing where you think, right, he might not knock anyone out, but it's going to be a beautiful thing to watch. It's like going to be an almost an amateur style where it's just going to be, I'm just going to pick up points for 12 rounds.
But I think that's why he's got to be over here, because I don't think the Americans really care too much about the cruiserweight division. Even though he, like that record should be like so impressive to anyone who likes boxing, but there are boxing fans who just don't like that.
Yeah. And we said it before, like when we had what Dwight was saying and Dave was saying, it was just some things that people just do not take to as fans. You want to see knockouts, great. Some people just don't care for the fine art of the sport.
Yeah.
And I feel like Usyk's kind of stuck in the middle of it.
No, he beats everyone, but he's in good competitive fights as well.
Yeah.
It's like,
as a fan, that's what you should want.
that is perfect, yeah.
But we've been conditioned now to the point where we just need to see someone getting sparked out in the first round for it to be pay-per-view worthy or whatever. C'est la vie. Moving on from Usyk, there'll be a lot to talk about him over the end of the year. Obviously, as the more and more heavyweight fights are getting made, his name's going to get thrown around a lot.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was impressed with him, but yeah, moving on. Have you seen the talk now of Dubois versus Dave Allen? Well, it was talked for about 4 hours, wasn't it? And then it was shut down.
Yeah.
Frank Warren apparently lowballed on the offer.
How can you lowball Dave Allen?
I don't know, mate. I don't know. Maybe he's at the point now where he's like, do you know what? I'm not getting my head smashed in for shit money.
Unfortunately, I think there's a lot of boxing fans who just want to see him get his head smashed in and that'd be the end of it. Like, fair play to him. Maybe like 2-3 fights ago, fair play to him, but just no interest at all. Like, Dubois doesn't get any credit for beating Dave Allen.
No.
All
you get from beating Dave Allen out now is
you get a bit of publicity.
That's it. More people will know you.
Yeah.
It pushes you up the bill, so you'll be closer to the main event.
But Dubois kind of is the main event on BT.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know how Frank Warren could possibly lowball Dave Allen. Like, how is Dave Allen still getting paid? Like, I don't get it.
It's a small
he's clearly like someone's got to say to, like, I'm sure people do say to him, but he's got to be someone from his side. You can't blame Frank Warren. He's not his promoter or manager. If someone's just got to say, just give it up, like, or go and fight someone and win a couple of fights and win an area title or win an English title, because that's the
just
level.
Stop getting beaten up every fight.
Yeah,
I think it's a fair point.
Sometimes he's just going to his point of view is that I just want to earn.
You're going to get the most money you can get,
because he's going to get smashed every time he steps up to British level.
That's a shame, isn't it? Well, do you know what? I think you said it before, and I say it's a shame. It's not, to an extent, because he's made fantastic money out of a mediocre
for him personally, like, it's great.
Career.
But it's like when you see him after fights talking about like health issues, and he is slurring. Like, he's been slurring for the last probably like 2 years. He's just taken too many beatings. It's like it's one of them like contradictions about boxing where you're trying to keep it safe and you don't want to fight at safety. It's like everyone knows that he shouldn't be fighting guys who are much better than him, but they encourage it.
Yeah,
and it encourages him specifically. Like, he seems to get very encouraged by it. He does it because he thinks the fans want it.
It's that bloodlust, isn't it? As fans, you want to see bad shit happen.
But the way he lost,
terrible. I'm not saying like people dying, but you want to see someone get knocked out. You want to see blood in the ring. You want to see stuff.
There's
like
that, but I mean, I would have loved to see him get knocked out against David Price in the second or third round. The way he lost, it's not nice to watch. Like, someone giving up because they're obviously like feeling something that's not just like a broken jaw or something. It's like something a lot more serious.
Yeah.
You don't really. It goes beyond being like an entertaining thing. I'd rather see someone just get knocked cold out, get up and say fair play, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Like, to get broken down, and it's only going to get worse. Like, let's be honest, Dubois isn't going to be messing around, is he? Like he's just going to hit him a few times in the first or second round. And he just gets swinging, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's not like Price. Price was probably worried about his own engine.
Yeah, and Price, it seems like he has to warm up to it, whereas Dubois he's just...
As soon as he's got someone hurt, like rightly or
it.
wrongly, he's willing to take a shot, and he'll just... He will pulverise him. And there's no need.
Yeah. Maybe I think if Dave Allen takes a fight of that sort of stature now, I just want it to be his last fight, an actual last fight.
Well, hopefully it's a good sign that he's sort of saying he's only going to do it for a certain amount of money. If the money's not there, just don't do it.
Yeah. That's good. Whereas before, what was it? They said he fought like Ortiz on like 10 grand or something stupid like that to step in and take the fight.
Yeah.
And you can't do that. Like when you put a price on your health, we're not talking in the low thousands here.
No.
Not at his age. I don't know how old he is.
He's
still in his 20s though, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to be destroying your brain at that age.
No. He's got,
For 10
hopefully he's got
grand.
like another 60, 70 years to live. And it's better, like the extra 50 grand, even if it's 50 grand, that's not enough.
It's not, is it?
No.
Well, like I said, that got shot down quite quickly. It seemed to... It's one of those stories that seems to pick up pace really quickly and then dissipate just as quickly. So obviously we were speaking in the BTR group chat just before during the day, kind of looking at what topics to discuss. Obviously we were discussing the football from last night and obviously the racism in the crowd and stuff, and it was an interesting one to kind of look at how that plays out across sports in general, but obviously we follow boxing more closely, and I was discussing it with one of my guys at work. I didn't obviously get to the Lomachenko fight because I was on holiday, and he was saying that the amount of English, obviously British fans that were there and were like abusing the Lomachenko fans, you know, doing the like the Borat accents and calling them Russians and this and that, and it astounded me that. See, everyone always makes a big fuss about it. In fact, you hear it quite a lot when they say that racism goes both ways. And when we hear the term racism, you always think it's against a person of colour. And it's not. But I find it really funny that in this country we are so outwardly against it when someone else does it. But we really haven't got our shit together at all, ourselves. Obviously, it's not just sports, it's kind of wider society.
Yeah.
But... I just don't know what can be done. I was looking at it. I was thinking about it quite in depth earlier on, and the only thing I can think of in this sport is that, you know, while governing bodies in any sport are so fractured, you've got so many different people looking after different things that there's just nobody to take overall responsibility. Like, giving examples, like remember a few years ago, obviously the Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather thing. There were some pretty shitty things said in the build up to that. But no one's going to sanction it. No one's going to. Also, when I say sanction, no one's going to have any problems with it because it's building.
Yeah.
It's building a fight.
Yeah.
You go back historically, even the greatest people like Muhammad Ali's and stuff, they said some fucking awful things, but it put bums on seats, so people were getting paid for it because of it. So no one's going to speak about it. It's terrible. Like even Bernard Hopkins when he fought, was it Calzaghe? And he's not going to get beaten by a white boy. And you just think, gee, like who? You can't say that stuff. But no one's going to say anything about it because it makes a headline, and headlines make money.
I think that's the... I'll be honest, like at boxing, I've never actually... I can't say experienced it because, you know, like sometimes you're there and you see these stupid comments where obviously the Bulgarian manager tried to say he didn't hear it, but obviously that's like the game was stopped, like you know what it was stopped for. But like you could be at a football game and there's racism going on, but you might not hear it. So I can honestly say I don't remember hearing racism at boxing myself as in the crowd. Right,
so I have an example of this, right? When we were at world famous York Hall for Jez Smith's fight in February.
Was I there? Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to say me that there was something going on?
I got reminded about this today, actually.
Yeah.
And again, some guy, when Jez was obviously taking a bit of a beating in one of the rounds, and he shouted out, "Come on, white boy, don't let him do that to you." This random guy. And he said a few little bits like that, to the point where Dwight had to say to him, you need to calm it down.
Oh,
You need
really?
to leave it out. To actively
Yeah.
stop somebody from just shouting, and in that instance, I don't think it was necessarily being racist. That's just you're ignorant. You're pretty
Yeah.
stupid. I think to be outwardly just shouting stupid things
Yeah.
like that, and because you don't think you're saying anything derogatory to the other person, you probably think you're all right with that.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of this comes back to wider society. It's about education. But again, who would take responsibility for that sort of
Well,
thing?
I think boxing's a hard one because I think in football it should be fairly straightforward. I mean, footballers get paid. They're getting paid.
Yeah.
Boxers don't necessarily get paid if they try to make a stand.
Yeah.
So they are kind of like almost like I can't think of the word. They're obliged to do things that they won't do because otherwise they just won't get paid.
Yeah.
And there's loads of comments like fairly recently Barry Hearn talking about it. I don't think Barry Hearn.
The slave master.
I don't think there was
The slave
intent behind what
contracts.
he was saying, but obviously that's effectively what it has been in the past. And I
Yeah.
think at low levels it still probably is,
Yeah.
or low to medium levels, because at the top you've got guys who kind of they can do what they want, but when you've got guys who haven't got a job but need to box to earn their living,
It's
like,
difficult to make that.
it's hard to make a
isn't
stand, isn't it? Yeah. And I think it's inevitable that racism exists in boxing because it exists in society, so it's just going to exist.
it? Yeah, I completely agree. That's what I'm saying. You can't just expect football players or a boxer to make the stand for everybody. You can't. Again, I'm trying to think back who was it? Kovalev fought, and I'm trying to think of the guy's name, but he fought him, and some of the things he was saying in interviews and stuff like not even like covert racism, just outright calling him like a monkey and stuff like that, and you just think this is ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
but who's going to tell you that that's wrong? Because nobody will.
Yeah.
And then you hear the uproar when that reporter got kissed on the
Yeah.
mouth. Like suddenly that was like, oh, that's sexist. You can't do that. The world was going to implode.
Yeah.
And yet you've got incidents like this happening elsewhere.
There's so many contradictions in boxing like that I can't really compare to another sport that I can think of off the top of my head, because racism definitely exists. It happens in so many different directions because you get black fighters who are racist towards Mexican fighters. You get white. I don't even know. White fighter talking about a black fighter. I can't think of an example off the top of my head.
Only Kovalev.
Yeah, only Kovalev. Bernard Hopkins. You had Golovkin's old trainer talking about typical black fighters.
Oh my god, that was awful.
You get all these comments. And there's so much like racism in so many different directions, but then I can't really think of a sport where like the most successful fighters and the biggest fighters in the sport in recent years have been like either Mexican or black.
Yeah.
It's like, so it's a contradiction, and it doesn't mean that racism doesn't exist, because you could really go and say that they're allowed to be the best, or they're encouraged to be the best, because it benefits the people who financially benefit from boxing, because you've got a lot of black boxing fans, you've got a lot of Mexican boxing fans. So if you just had loads of white boxers being the best in all the weight divisions, you wouldn't have the fan base to put the finances into the boxing. Yeah, so you can argue it both ways, whether it's really racist or whether it's less racist than other sports. I don't really know. Like looking Anthony Joshua and Canelo, they're probably the two biggest names in boxing right now.
And they're obviously both superior as well.
But then you've got Anthony Joshua saying racist things.
The
You've
superior
bound to
race.
have had, probably Canelo is going to be saying racist stuff. It
But
just seems to be a
not-
sport
but we
where
just don't understand it. Yeah,
you've just got a sport where it seems anything goes and it's just accepted.
that's exactly it. Whereas, and do you know what it is? Like boxing is obviously everyone says it's the working man sport, but it's not very corporate.
No.
Even though there's a lot of money to be made in it, I don't think a sponsor would give a shit if they found
Clearly
out
not.
these things happen. Like people were fighting to have their products on Anthony Joshua.
Yep.
And he was embroiled in such controversy when that all came out, what he'd been saying to other people. That it wouldn't fly for anyone else in any other sport. Your sponsorships will be whipped away the next day.
But then I'm sure that if you look through, then you could take it even further and argue again that, say, apart from Al Heyman, who are the promoters or TV executives or managers who aren't white? Who are the people who are supposed to be in a position where they should say something?
Yeah.
And they're probably mainly white.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, and it's like... So, I don't know whether it's... I'm not saying that them people in particular are racist, but the whole thing is probably... It's definitely not reflective of society, the setup.
And again,
it's like MPs, it's like...
Again,
they're all white.
Like you said, it is absolutely about society, because you look at, even in... we always do it, but referencing football, everyone looks at Raheem Sterling to make the stand.
Yeah.
And it's like, you've got the whole country ready to back an FA that's what they're there to do, is to look after the players and to support football.
Yeah.
And you're looking at a 20-something-year-old man to do this for you. I was fuming. I didn't watch the game, but I'd heard about it. I'd obviously seen the plans in the build-up to the game that if there was any racist abuse, they were going to walk off the pitch. I was so disappointed and genuinely felt let down that did not happen.
But like you say, it needs to be... Because I was thinking as well that they're saying, oh, maybe the captain should have made the decision for the team. And it's like, well, hold on. Then potentially you've got someone who's white.
It becomes...
it's like, so hold on. You're telling us what to do. You're not even affected by it. It's like, it's so complicated that it just needs to be...
It is a bit of a minefield.
It's just it should either be one or the other. It's like, if we were either going to ignore it or we're going to just walk off, and it should be walk off. And it should be... And people are like, oh yeah, but... Then they're racist to get what they want. It's like, no, they don't. They don't. They don't get what they want at all. It's they get what they want because there's no punishment, and their managers come out afterwards and pretend it hasn't happened.
Yeah,
it's like they've got what they wanted because they got away with it.
And I said, like, my missus, she showed me a video of Ian Wright walking around the stadium yesterday after the game, and he said, "Oh, racism got a kick in the arse today."
Yeah,
I was like, "Fucking didn't."
Yeah,
you were going to beat them regardless.
Yeah.
So nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to change. They basically had a free hit today.
Yeah.
And we're walking away, going, "Oh well, we beat him anyway. Doesn't really matter." And then, again, like to kind of bring it back to boxing, like that wouldn't happen in boxing. You couldn't, like the fight wouldn't happen. But again, that stand would be crazy, because that would influence people there. Because money's going into the sport, and if someone said, right, well, if that happens, I'm walking out, you couldn't hate that. But again, like I said, it's such a complex thing, and I appreciate there's no quick fix, there's no answers to it. But it's always even just discussing it on like in person, you can always deal with it. Like when you try and discuss it online, it's impossible, absolutely impossible, because everybody is. Especially in social media, like we've spoken about this before in terms of boxing, you end up with your social media is so personal to you that you kind of live in a bit of a vacuum, because what you kind of believe, the more you believe it, the more you see it, because obviously what you click on, what you like, it influences more what you see. So if you think a certain way about someone, you're going to end up surrounded by more and more people that think like you.
It's reinforcing,
and that's when it becomes a real problem. So I said, in person you can have these chats, but you can't do it elsewhere. Curtis Woodhouse, I always look at his Twitter, because he's always got a bee in his bonnet, and I can understand why, because he gets a lot of dickheads. And again, it's like, was it Dino that purged social media from boxing? And I think if there's one thing I wish we could uninvent,
I think it's going to head that way. I think social media will die a death, because it's just it's not turned out to be what they probably thought it was going to be, or that it has.
Think it has. Yeah, that's the problem.
And
now everyone's
clocked
onto it. It's a bit of a problem.
I mean, I think going back through, I'd imagine racism will never really stop for the next couple of 100 years, until we're all the same anyway. So,
listen, us mixes, we're on the up, man. 200 years, there'll be more of us than anybody else.
Yeah, but
then you're in trouble. I'll tell you that now.
Like going back to things like the Great White Hope, it's like that was pretty bad.
But it was just because it wasn't even frowned upon then.
When you think about it, like the word hope, being included is like really bad.
Yeah,
it's like that's the worst bit about that nickname. And then even like in recent years,
because like the opposite of hope is like despair.
Yeah, it's like we need to stop this.
Oh my god.
But then in recent years, you've got like Amir Khan probably would have suffered it more than most in recent years, because it was like a new ethnicity and like reaching the top bits of boxing.
Yeah. And he still suffers from that now.
Yeah. I mean, was
Massive.
it Danny Garcia's dad was like really racist towards him?
Yeah, he's a strange one anyway.
Yeah. And it's a sport where there's a lot of sort of like testosterone and aggression that these worst bits of society are going to come out, and without wanting to sound like horrible about boxers in general, but the best thing about them is that, let's be honest, if they're all doing amazing at school, it's like football, they probably wouldn't be boxers.
Exactly,
so they're not the most educated people or the most cultured people in the world.
Boxing's been their
From
way
like
out
a
from
sensitivity
the
point of view, it's like
bottom.
they've had to be a certain way to get where they are, and so it's like the worst traits will come out.
Yeah. And to be honest, I think they're probably encouraged now.
Yeah.
Like I said, the more you make a noise, the more money you're going to get.
I mean, and it's
So
like,
it's just how much are you willing to do to get your money?
Yeah, we didn't talk about the gypsies, but they suffer it, and it's sort of like until probably the last 5 years that wasn't really seen as racist.
Yeah.
And we're all guilty. Like we're all guilty of like.
We've all done it.
Yeah, but we're all guilty
All
of
of
like
us.
varying degrees of racism, whether
Everyone's
it's
got their
conscious or
own
not.
prejudice
And it's not
somewhere.
it's not necessarily like with intent. It's just the way people are. But in boxing, obviously, you're trash talking someone, and so you're going to say stuff, especially
Heat of the
when you
moment
know it's raising the profile of a fight, which means it literally directly affects the amount of money you're going to earn.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't think it's like football, because footballers just earn the money. Do you know what I mean?
That's it.
There can be something done without it affecting the actual sportsman. They can actually do something in football.
Yeah.
In boxing, it's going to be hard, because the night before a show, a boxer, what are they going to say? Oh, no, I'm not going to fight tomorrow. But then deep down they know
if
they need
anybody
to.
says anything, I'm leaving.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, right, well, I'm not going to earn any money now.
Yeah.
And now a promoter probably isn't going to put me in a show now because I'm unreliable. And I don't really know how you sort it out. It's quite fragmented, and it's especially the lower level boxers are so reliant on the money coming in that probably people put up with stuff they don't need to.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just like you could talk about this subject from so many angles for like hours and hours and hours.
And you couldn't. It probably wouldn't even end up talking about boxing at all.
Yeah, I mean it's not boxing, is it? It's this society.
It's been a quiet week.
Yeah. What have we got this weekend?
Don't know.
There's something big this weekend.
Don't know.
It's David.
No, there is. It's oh Jesus! I was looking at it earlier on.
Is it, David Price is fighting, no? Is that this weekend?
No, we've got a couple of minutes to go. We haven't purchased today, so we'll have to do that separately, and we'll drop that as a.
Yeah, it's funny
separate
actually.
feature.
We've touched upon it a bit as well.
I told you would get something to purge as we were talking,
Yeah,
and that was definitely the case.
yeah. I mean, racism in boxing would be good, but
Bit too broad though, isn't it?
yeah,
Because then you just go, all right, racism in boxing, but it's all right in.
It's the big show. Yeah, it's Josh Taylor against.
Oh yes,
yeah.
because
Chisora against Price.
He's been in York Hall. He was at the British Warrior show at the weekend. It's been imagine that you're just down there to see like Ryan Charles, and then just like Progo's just walking around.
Yeah,
Fucking brilliant.
that's going to be a good, amazing show.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that show. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out when we come back next week. We should have a whole team to sit and discuss that.
Funny how Dave swerved this show, isn't it?
The one we were talking about racism, yeah, I screenshotted our chat earlier on. Well, actually, we talk about racism. Dave's like, I'm not coming. How convenient, David.
I was going to see a house in the dark.
Yeah.
Good one, Dave.
All right. Yeah. So we'll sign off today. Before we go, I want to say a massive congratulations to Mr. Ricky Heavens as well, who announced his partner's expecting this week. So yeah,
Congrats.
sleep goodbye, my friend. I'll see how much of a camp you can get through now. But yeah, fair play to you, lad. Right. So we'll be back next week, in theory, with 4 of us. But we'll see how things go. See you then. Peace.